Sounds of gunfire continue to rumble, echoing across the Sudanese capital Khartoum, as ceasefire failed for the fifth time amidst exchanges of accusations of violation between the Sudanese army and the rapid support forces. The scene from above unveils thick black smoke rising over the skyline of the Sudanese cities, including Omdurman. The battles have only left rubble and destroyed vehicles on the roads. As for human loss, hundreds of people have been killed and thousands wounded since this long-simmering power struggle erupted into conflict on April 15.
It all started around 1, 2, and 3 a.m. We took refuge at a local police station. They told us we cannot stay because the fighting had started. I called my children and told them to take my grandchildren and leave. And then we fled on foot.
Tens of thousands of Sudanese citizens have been lucky enough to make it out of the front line, finding refuge in neighboring countries such as Chad and Egypt. Many more others are still attempting to make it safe to the other side, away from the violence, waiting inside their buses at Sudanese border into Egypt. The UNICEF has sounded the alarm over the humanitarian situation in the country, which affected over 600,000 children who suffer from acute malnutrition. Furthermore, conditions of humanitarian workers in the country have been identified as extremely dangerous, especially that a number of aid workers had been killed in the fighting.
We know that ahead of this crisis, over 15 million people were in need of humanitarian assistance, and that included 8 million children. All the aerial bombardments, the attacks on facilities, the attacks on water infrastructure, the destruction of vital vaccine, that figure is going to go up.
Meanwhile, the International Committee of the Red Cross, for its part, delivered the first international shipment of humanitarian aid to Port Sudan, which includes medicines, food, and clothes for the citizens who are not as lucky to make it out of the country.
This medical assistance will hopefully travel quite quickly from Port Sudan, delivered to the hospitals that are in most need. And that requires indeed a ceasefire that should be respected by both sides for us to be able, with our colleagues from the Sudanese Red Crescent, to deliver these items as quickly as we can.
Elsewhere in the southwest Sudan, city citizens live some sort of calm as the military conflict continued to rage on, making the situation really critical. There are no clear signs of a near resolution for the power struggle in the country, amidst continued calls for ceasefire extension for humanitarian purposes. However, no serious steps have been taken to solve the deadly conflict in the war-torn country.